Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. My background is as a kind of energy and sustainability consultant, but because of my short attention span, I'm now working in digitalization. So we wrote a kind of IoT market survey for real estate just earlier this year. And one of the main kind of starting points of how we describe these issues to maybe non-technical engineering focused people was trying to look for this one or two core technologies, something that we could explain really well, something that was kind of this central concept of smart buildings or smart city. And then when we explained them really well, we could say, you know, everything else kind of hangs on these one or two things. If you understand these, then you kind of get it, and everything else is a kind of nuance of that. We found it really, really difficult to find these one or two things. And the report we wrote with our colleagues in Delft University and Aalto, we interviewed the client for the Edge in Amsterdam, and Eric Ubels came up with this kind of concept. Quite often he was talking about this real user focus. So the smart building is not smart if it doesn't make people smarter. We're not doing things just because we have technology, and that real value is coming through kind of personalization, customization of different solutions. We can do that now. It isn't one size fits all. And around the same time, in our customer seminar, we had someone from the UK, from Fujitsu, visit us, who talked about the kind of 3 generations of smart city, where originally it was technology providers saying, let's do this. Then it was maybe technology providers and cities saying, this is our new bright future. But that maybe now we're in the stage where it's a co-creation with citizens, where it's the combination of citizens, cities, and technology. This concept of change isn't done to you, it's actually maybe something you initiate, something you participate in. So, and sorry, I have some busy slides today. I have a PowerPoint presentation issue as well. But this elusive wow, that we're looking for this big game changer effect delivered by IoT or data or these issues. Sometimes, you know, smart buildings can sound really incremental. It can be, the joke about smart homes was, it'll tell you, your fridge will tell you when you've run out of milk. The idea is that, oh look, I can turn on my lights with my voice or my phone, but that seems quite small. When you compare it to something like, you know, new ways of working, remote working, where people are much more flexible in where they are, they can work from home, they can have much more flexible business hours. When they come to an office building, if they want to be there, there's a range of spaces to sit and work. It really improves work-life balance. It reduces, let's say, the carbon emissions of commuting every day. That's had an impact, for me especially. If we consider something like mobility as a service, getting rid of your car, walking more, using the bus more, cycling, and then taxis or Uber or car share when you need it. Again, this is kind of improving health and saving money. And you kind of go, okay, where's the smart building momentum in a similar way to these? And I think it's not about inside the walls of the building. It's not about the side of the building. It's somehow having maybe a building as a platform or a building as this node or the workplace as a node that your employer provides for you that interacts with the surrounding services, be it shops, be it food, be it the local service hub for cars, mobility as a service hub. And I think we've kind of come to this main thinking in our work that we've done with Aalto and Delft, which was there's no one priority core technology. It's coming from the kind of generated value of integrating all these separate things. And it's the idea of installing 10 technologies and getting 15 functionalities. That it's the kind of cumulative effect of these 20, 50, 100 things. So what we're seeing more and more of is the smart work day, kind of facilitated by your employer, facilitated and enabled by technology, that it should make the employee or the building user healthier. It should allow them to save time, to save money, to reduce energy, to reduce their carbon emissions. And this is the idea of, okay, where do I work in the morning? Do I go to the office? Do I stay at home? Issues with the day, and then also the interaction of on your way home, does it help you as well? My animations are gone here, so sorry about the really busy slide. But it's things like, on the left in the yellow, if we have, okay, where do I want to work today? Can I choose my desk? Can I work from home? Is my diary telling me what to do and where to go? Say you have to be in Dooley today, you need to leave soon. Is it about kind of ride-share apps which are colleagues? When I'm in the office then, when my kids come home from school, can I send me a message and okay, I can say, okay, cool, they're safe? Is it about encouraging people to walk more and we have sports apps or Withings watches counting our steps and giving us feedback? Is it about opening the doors and I'm recognized and it makes my favorite coffee? All of the things that we're kind of talking about all the time seem kind of incremental, but there are so many of them, and combined together, it really kind of changes the user experience. We've gone, like the smart city concept, we've gone from this technology-led efficiency thinking to this idea of helping the user. Is it about it on the right, that when I come home in the evening, that there is a shared vehicle hub in my office building or near my office building? If that's there, then my office building is more valuable to me as a user. I don't have to own a car. Is it that I can have in my office building or where I work, my groceries can be delivered there, or my Amazon deliveries, or my Zalando, or whatever it is, in the same way that we kind of see smart posts now and these kind of things? Can I have one of them in my office building? And then there's this idea of having something like Volt or Foodora, that I can order food on the way home, like they have in Smart Galasatama, or if I have a nice office building, but the restaurant downstairs isn't to my liking, I then have these 10 or 20 restaurants all around the space that essentially are in my building because I can use Volt or something like that. So for us in Granlund, this was published from Gartner in their hype cycle just last month. In their perspective, smart workspace is still 5 to 10 years away. So as Pekka said earlier on, we have a really strong ecosystem here. We're coming from a kind of a real estate, construction, design, and kind of software background. So we maybe have some maybe industry knowledge, and there's lots of work to do, and we're really interested in collaborating. And then, in summary, when kind of construction people or when our colleagues kind of get overwhelmed by the new terms and technologies in digital real estate or smart buildings, we kind of condense it down to these few things. We generally categorize everything as just being devices, data or interface, just to simplify things. If a startup pops up and we're trying to work out what they do, we try and put them in these boxes, just from a simple perspective. And maybe if it's a device company, it's a sensor or a controller. And again, just trying to keep things simple. And then if it's a data company, maybe it's just an analytic tool, or maybe it's a little bit more progressive and it's doing something like AI or machine learning. And if you're an interface, then you're maybe focused towards a technical end user or the actual the end user, the occupant of the building. And the process then, in terms of we see it, it's a kind of sense, think, act, and communicate. And every time we see things get overcomplicated or we get confused in this ecosystem, this is kind of how we see things, and we come back to this. So that's what we have to present today. We're really kind of encouraged by this kind of the engineering viewpoint of efficiency, of using technology to make things 5% better. That's kind of drifting away, and there's much more discussion on user experience, on it not being this separate entity of a building, but having almost a smart city or a connected real estate kind of way of thinking. And I think in buildings as well, one of the most interesting things that's happened in the last year or two was WeWork, who are really using data to optimize their space design, just had a few months ago a 20 billion valuation. So if that hasn't made people go, okay, if people weren't interested before, that 20 billion valuation says, now you should be. Okay, thank you.